my beautiful entrepreneurs. Have you been making your body oil and you're trying to color it, but every time you do, it comes out looking like this, or maybe even this? Well, I want to share with you how to color your body oil so that you get the perfect color that's light and that's actually blends well with your body oil. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into the video. Okay, so when it comes to coloring your body oil, this was something that really was racking my brain because I just could not figure out why the color just would not stick. And I got to a point where I was just like, you know what, I'm just not going to color my body oils and I'm just gonna leave it alone. But I had to come back and think that there has to be another way to do this. Now, when you're coloring your body oil, the first thing that I tried to do was add in mica. So I added in mica into my body oil, and what I noticed with adding in mica is that you are going to see the color start to suspend in the oil. Like, you'll see the color, you'll see a little bit of the shimmer, but what happens is as you let it sit, everything just falls to the bottom. And the other option that I would think to do was to make a thicker oil, but with that, it was still falling a little bit to the bottom. So I realized that adding in mica was just not the best idea when it comes to actually coloring your body oil. Now, the other option that I figured and went into was adding in shimmer or adding in those sparkles into the body oil. Now, when it comes to adding in the sparkles, that does absolutely really nothing for the oil. You'll see that shimmer in the oil a little bit, it'll look a little cool in the bottle, but you would have to again shake it up like the mica, and it's going to all suspend to the bottom of the jar. And when you're thinking about your customers, you don't want to have to say
take well to use, see the color.
That kind of defeats the purpose, and that's not the type of message that I wanted to put out. So I didn't want to just have products that when it arrives to them, it's going to be all settled to the bottom. It's not going to look like the advertisements that I put out, right, of it being all colorful and everything like that. So there had to be another way to add color to the overall oil. Okay, so bear with me because I'm going to share with you the best way to add color to your body oil. And this is just going to make the perfect body oil color overall. And we're going to get there. But the next option that I thought of when it came to this body oil was to add in oxides. Now, in my thought process, oxides or oil, they mix well into oil, a really great option for this body oil. So I tried that. And when I added in the oxide, I realized that it actually started to gain the color. You saw the color coming through, was suspending really nicely, and it looks really pretty in the oil, but this still was settling to the bottom of the bottle. So I'm trying to figure out, why is it that everything just keeps settling? This is supposed to be more of an oil-based product. This is supposed to just, this is supposed to just go straight into the oil. It's supposed to mix perfectly, and this should be the perfect product to use to color the body oil. Well, I was wrong. The best way to make this body oil have color is to make your own colorants. Now, when it comes to making your own colorants, you wouldn't think to use that in your body oil, but this is going to really add great color to your oils. When you're making a colorant, this is oil based. You're using all oil. Now, when it comes to making the colorant, I'm using castor oil. Now, if you're looking for natural oils to use in your ingredients and just to have for your body butter business, then watch the video that I have linked down below for natural body oils. And I talked about castor oil as being one of the oils that are great to use for your business in general. But what I didn't mention in that video is that you can use the castor oil to make colorants. So this is a really thick oil that's going to mix really great into the oil that you're already making. So when you're making your colorant, you're going to take the color that you are wanting to make. You are going to use 1 part of the oxide to 2 parts of the oil. So I just bought some squeeze bottles off of Amazon. I'll have that link down below for you as well so that you could try this out. But I took some squeeze bottles from Amazon and I just poured in some of the oxide and then I added in the oil. Now I allowed it to mix. Now with this being such a thick oil, it may take a while for everything to mix until I got the appropriate color that I was looking for. After making all of the colorants, now you can actually add this to your oil. This is already an oil, so it's going to mix perfectly into your body oil. There's no questioning whether or not it's going to settle or anything. It mixes perfectly. So now you have this perfect pink color that is that's not going to settle. You're going to see that pink and it's going to stay there. What I did notice is that you don't want to add too much color. I made the mistake of adding too much color. So what happens when you add in too much color is that you are going to see that it just gave me this really, really like bright pink, like almost like Pepto-Bismol, and it was just not an attractive color. One really good company that I've noticed really kind of like stays firm with colored oils is going to be like Truly. I've noticed that they really have a lot of their oils are colored and they're really beautiful colors, but they're light and they're not taking away from the oil and it's not too much. And even when you see it like demonstrating on a person's skin, you can tell that it's not too much colorant that they're adding to it. And I think what the big key is using colorants to make the colors so that you can actually have the appropriate color that you are looking for. Okay, so now getting into me actually making some body oil and adding in the colorant myself. So when I decided to do this, I'm going to show you 2 colors. So I made a pink and I made a blue. So when it came to this with the pink one, I used red number 27 color, and when I added in that a couple drops into each of them to see how the color would come out, and when I shook that up, the oil was still translucent. You still had a really nice light pink color. It wasn't too much of a pink. This is a pink that would go really well if you're having like a floral oil, or if it's an oil that's supposed to be, you know, like rose or anything like that. Like it would be kind of like an oil for that, something florally. I can see that oil working really great for. And then in the blue one, I added in the blue colorant and it just added in a couple drops, and still it was translucent and the color came out really beautifully with the blue. It wasn't too much, but if you wanted it to be a little bit darker, you could add a little bit more. But I think with just a couple of drops, it adds a nice, you know, subtle color to it, but it's not too much. And I think that's just really the overall idea when it comes to coloring your body oil. Now with the blue one, I really like that one. That one's more of like, I feel like a, you know, baby powder type of color, or if you're looking for something that's more of like a fresh scent, I think the light blue really goes well with that. So I love the way that both of these oils came out for the body oil, and it really just made it a nice translucent color overall. Now it's great to have your colorants figured out for your body oil, but if you're still trying to figure out a great formula for your body oil, watch this video here where I show you a full formula on making a firming body oil, and these will be great to test out your colorants on as well. And I'll catch you in the next one.